frog only. So you know that frog leaping from lily pads to croaking in rain, these are the true gymnasts of animal kingdom. Okay, so as you know, frog belongs to tetrapods. So what are tetrapods? Tetrapods means this is a group in the vertebrata where they have 4 limbs, a pair of 4 limbs, a pair of hind limbs. And these are also the first vertebrates to live on the land, though they have to return to water. For what? Fertilization. So you have heard this. Bryophytes. Bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why? Even though they live on the land, they require the water moisture or the water vapors in order to get fertilized. So similarly here, right? When we talk about this specific frog here, this belongs to Anura. Anura means they don't have any tail. The body is clearly divisible into head, trunk and limbs. So here there is no neck. If you see, there is no neck and no tail, right? Next, the most common species that is found in India is Rana tigrina. Okay, so this is the most common species found in India. They are cold-blooded, that is poikilotherms. What is the meaning of cold-blooded or poikilotherms? They don't have capability of maintaining their own body temperature. If at all there is reduction in the body temperature, that means what? Surrounding temperature has also decreased. Surrounding temperature increased, the frog's body temperature will also increase. So this is what happens. So they are cold-blooded or poikilotherms. However, we are homeotherms. We can regulate our body temperature. So we will look at in detail about the Rana tigrina. The special feature of this one is they can show camouflage and mimicry. See, can you see from a far distance, you will not be able to see this frog at all. They are that much blending into the nature. So they do camouflage and they do mimicry. Sometimes what is the exact meaning of the mimicry? Let's say there is any poisonous toad or poisonous frog, it will, even the non-venomous or the non-poisonous will mimic the poisonous one in the skin color or texture, so that the predators will be staying away from that one. So that is how this camouflage and mimicry is there, right? Next, it will show aestivation. So what is aestivation? Like I told already, see, just now we discussed, they are cold-blooded. They cannot regulate their body temperature. When suddenly there is extreme heat in the surroundings, what it will do? So in order to regulate their body temperature, when there is extreme temperature, the body enzymes will not work. So in order to escape from this one, what they will do? They will burrow themselves. They will go to a state of rest. This is called as aestivation or summer sleep. Okay. The same thing happens during winter. That is called as hibernation. So aestivation and hibernation are 2 of the characteristic features of the amphibians. So whenever there is too much of variations, when the enzymes, body enzymes will not work, they have to go to this state. Okay. Now how the Rana tigrina appears? Rana tigrina generally appears olive green in color, okay, with dark irregular spots. And whenever you try to catch, if at all you have tried catching a frog, it is always slippery in nature. Why that slippery in nature? Because there is a mucus secretion. So it is dark olive green in color, irregular spots, and it is having a lot of mucus. You cannot catch that one. Of course, you can catch. What I meant is, it is slippery. It will not easily, you cannot hold it in your hand. Why that slippery nature is required? We will see. So this was the outer texture, how the Rana tigrina was appearing. But when you see the below side, how it will appear? It is ventral side, it is uniformly pale yellow in color. So here there was a color difference, right? Irregular spots, everything. But here uniformly pale yellow in color. The one advantage of this having the mucus skin is the frog never drinks water, because always moisture is there. Because of diffusion, water molecules will easily diffuse into the frog skin. Now the question comes, how the water molecules will diffuse into the skin that easily? See, we have hair, right? Hair is an exoskeleton. Here frog doesn't have any exoskeleton, so there is no exoskeleton. So due to the lack of exoskeleton, it is helping frog indeed. So the water absorption is so easy for the frog, so there is no need of in search of water. So they will not drink water. So they never drinks water but absorbs because there is no exoskeleton, the skin is mucus, easy diffusion happens, water molecule exchange will happen. Fine. Now, so when we are talking about frog, we are saying amphibians. Amphibians means what? You know very well, amphibians, they can survive both on the land and water. So if it has to survive underwater, it is having some adaptation so that it can effectively survive there. Here, there is something called as nictitating membrane that protects frog when it is underwater. See, we have lower eyelid, upper eyelid. So here also it is having lower eyelid, upper eyelid. There is also one more eyelid in the front. It's like when I am swimming, instead of my open eyes, I am wearing a swimming goggles and I am swimming. I can clearly see the water. So it is nature given gift. It's like a goggle always. So that nictitating membrane is there. So it will help the frog to see underwater clearly. Okay. On the other hand, it is having a primitive ear structure. They don't have external ear pinna like us. They have a tympanic membrane through which they will sense the signal. Okay. So one big adaptation underwater is having this nictitating membrane. Because of this nictitating membrane, it is able to survive and adapt better. Okay. Next, come to frog. So we said tetrapods. They are having a pair of hind limbs, a pair of forelimbs. So if you see with this pairs, what they are doing, they are able to swim, they are able to walk, they are able to leap, and they are able to burrow. They can do multiple activities, right? Here, forelimbs, the important thing that you have to note here is the forelimbs are having only 4 digits, whereas the hind limbs are having 5 digits. Imagine this is forelimb, it is having only 4 digits. Hind limb, it is having 5 digits. Even in the forelimb, they have webbed feet that you see generally in duck. So here, can you see this? There are webbed feet which are helping in swimming or any other activities. When it is water, of course, swimming like a rowing a boat, it will help easily to move across. Okay, so this is one thing that you have to observe here. When we are talking about forelimbs, there is something called as copulatory pad on the first digit of forelimb which are absent in female frogs. So that means what I am talking. So this is a male frog. If you can see a bulged structure here, this bulged structure, it's present on the first digits of the forelimb. It is more prominently visible in the mating season where a copulatory pad is there. For what reason? On both the fingers, both the forelimbs it is there. What it will do? During copulation, when it has to hold the female frog, that will be helpful. So in order to anchor the female frog, this copulatory pad is very much needed. So that is more prominently visible in males. It is not present in females, and like I said, more prominent in the mating season. Okay, so this has been asked in previous exam as well. Okay, so I hope, even though I'm going a bit fast, it's just a quick revision. The reason being, it's already been done in the classes in a detailed manner. Okay, we were talking about forelimbs, hind limbs, and then we talked about copulatory pad. There is one more special feature, how you distinguish male and female frogs. Male frogs are generally smaller in nature compared to the female. At the same time, again, like I said, in the mating season, this vocal sacs, they have a prominent vocal sacs with which they make croaking sound to call the respective species partner. So in the rainy season, you have seen the croaking sound of frogs, right? You have definitely heard those croaking sound. What it is doing, it is trying to attract a female. Here, the vocal sacs, again it is present in males. It is present in females also, but it is not developed, very well developed. Even if a female is using the vocal sacs, it is not that prominent. So vocal sacs, copulatory pad, these two are the important characters with respect to male frogs. Okay. So next, see, these frogs are having prehensile bilobed tongue. What is this prehensile bilobed tongue? So it can roll itself, it can stretch. So like this. So rolling and stretching. So this prehensile bilobed tongue is there and it is sticky. It can easily grab insects. So these frogs will eat insects, moths, snails, worms, slugs. So it is having a varied diet. Right? In order to catch all these things, what it is having a prehensile bilobed tongue. Okay, so far in the morphology, what all we have understood? We have understood when the temperature goes variation beyond its controllable tolerable limits, it will go to either aestivation or hibernation. Then we saw that it is having a copulatory pad, then webbed feet. So these are all the special features. Now we will dive into anatomy. So what are the anatomical features of this frog? See, this digestive system of the frog consists of both alimentary canal and the digestive glands. See, in the side view, it looks like this. And it is almost similar to humans. I'm saying almost similar, not exactly. Of course, we are vertebrates. We are having the same common evolutionary traits. So we share similarity. So what all the parts are present in the frog? See, it starts with buccal cavity. Then buccal cavity will go towards pharynx, pharynx to stomach, then esophagus, stomach, then intestine, then it is ending up in something called as cloaca. At the same time, here you can see there is liver, the gallbladder, pancreas. Let us say this frog has catch some insects. From buccal cavity, first it will travel to pharynx. Through pharynx via esophagus, it will come to stomach. In stomach, what happens? Stomach is having capability of secreting hydrochloric acid, where it will digest foods. Semi-digestion will happen there. It will turn into something called as chyme. Then chyme will slowly move towards intestine. When it moves towards intestine, the liver will release bile, which is already stored in gallbladder. That will enter through this bile duct. Then through pancreatic duct, the pancreatic secretion will come. Then slowly, the digested chyme and other secretions of the glands, digestive glands, will enter intestine. So the complete digestion will end in intestine. So in the intestinal level, the digestion will end. Then it will open into something called as a rectum. Here the interesting part to note is the rectum is not opening into anus. Generally what happens whenever we talk about, let's say humans only, we talk about rectum and anus. Here we are calling it as cloaca. What we are calling? We are calling it as cloaca. What is the special feature of cloaca? Cloaca is such an opening or cloacal aperture or the area where it will pass urine, undigested matter, at the same time gametes. So that's why it is called as urinogenital system. When we come to the reproductive system, we will see detailedly, but rectum is not opening into anus, it is opening into cloaca. Cloaca is the area where urine, undigested waste and gametes all are coming out. Okay, so this is briefly about digestive system. Next come to respiratory system. Like I already told, amphibians, they live both in land and water. Accordingly, they have adapted. When it is on the land, through the buccal cavity and the lungs, it is inhaling the air through the external nostrils. Okay, the same thing when it is under the hibernation and estivation, through skin diffusion, it will be exchanging the gases. Simple process of diffusion. From the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, it is easily exchanging the gases. Next, come to circulatory system. See here, the frog's heart is three-chambered, 2 atrium and 1 ventricle. Okay, so this is right atrium, left atrium, ventricle. Here, this frog's circulatory system is not having just circulatory system, it is also having lymphatic system. So what is lymph? Without certain RBC and proteins, whatever the watery portion is there, that we call lymph, and lymph will be circulated separately. Okay, so the lymphatic system is also there, circulatory system is also there. See, here, come to this part. When we are talking about, see, this is right atrium, this is left atrium, this is ventricle. See, I am giving you dorsal view. See, when I am standing here, this is what? My mouth is here. This is my ventral view. This is the ventral view. This is dorsal view. The back side is dorsal view. So here I am showing you the dorsal view of the frog's heart. All the impure blood or the deoxygenated blood is connected from different vena cavas, and it will open into something called as sinus venosus. Sinus venosus is a triangular structure. Where it is opening? It is opening in the right atrium. Through right atrium, it will go to lungs for respective circulation. Okay, so this is important. What is this? Sinus venosus. Sinus venosus is a triangular structure which will connect or collect all the deoxygenated blood. See, major veins, vena cava. So this has also been asked in the examination. So for us it is appearing right atrium. Okay, now come to this one. Whatever the oxygenated blood is there. So let's say now the deoxygenated blood went to lungs through pulmonary circulation. It has come back to the heart. Now heart has to pump the oxygenated blood. Here there is a sac-like structure called as conus arteriosus. This sac-like structure, conus arteriosus, is the one which is supplying the oxygenated blood. So remember two words: sinus arteriosus, so this one, sorry, sinus venosus, next conus arteriosus. Venosus, deoxygenated blood; arteriosus, oxygenated blood. Okay. So apart from this, our internal organs, just like our internal organs, liver and kidney is having a separate circulation, small circulation. Indirectly it is connected to broader circulatory system only, but the digestive glands, whatever the digestive system is having a connection with the liver for digestion of the absorption of certain food particles and elimination of certain toxic particles, we have something called as hepatic portal vein. So we call that as hepatic portal system. So here, similarly in frogs, we have something called as hepatic portal system. So special venous connection between liver and intestine is there. At the same time, the kidney and the lower parts is there. One is called as hepatic portal system, other one is called as renal portal system. Directly through kidney, in order to eliminate certain waste, it is there. So this is a brief outlay of frog's circulatory system. Next, come to excretory system. Sorry, here it is circulatory system, it is mentioned, but it is excretory system. So what this frog will excrete? Frog will excrete urea. It is a uricotelic animal. Uricotelic animal means that will eliminate urea. So whatever the amino, see, amino waste is converted into ammonia. Through ammonia it is converted into urea. Urea is eliminated in the form of urine. So this is what happens in Cori cycle. So anyway, this frog will also eliminate urea. So what are the structures that you can see here? So here you can see a pair of kidneys. Here you can see a pair of kidneys. And a broad pipe which we call ureter. So one kidney is there, one ureter is there. It is opening into directly what I said, cloaca. So through cloaca it is expelled. So some part of urine is also stored in urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is small, it is stored here also. At the same time it is expelled here. So this is simple. It consists of a pair of kidneys, ureter, cloaca and urinary bladder. In case of females, if you see, it is having kidneys separately. At the same time, it is having oviduct. Oviduct is opening separately. That is also opened in cloaca only. This we will see in the reproductive system. Okay, for time being, you just understand. Cloaca will be having two openings. One is for ureter, other one is for oviduct. They are opening at two different places within the same cloaca. Then this frog is similar to us. In what way? It is having both the nervous system, at the same time it is having endocrine system. What is endocrine system? It is secretion of certain hormones for maintaining the homeostasis. So it is also having different glands like pituitary, pancreas, thymus, thyroid, gonad. It is secreting different hormones. It is almost similar to us, not required much. So we have to just understand that endocrine glands do present in frog. Next, come to nervous system. So the nervous system is having two major parts. One is central nervous system, which is having a brain and spinal cord, that is main, and whatever the leftover cranial and spinal nerves are there, which we call it as peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Other than that, there are certain parts of the body which will be working continuously without our notice. For example, heart is beating continuously. We don't know, or we will not consciously observe that heart is beating. So that is done by sympathetic, parasympathetic system. So that is also there in this one, which is ultimately protected in a brainy box, cranium. Okay, it is having 10 pairs of cranial nerves. The forebrain includes olfactory lobes for sensing, cerebrum just like us. Two cerebral hemispheres are there for us. It is also having two cerebral hemispheres. Then one undivisible diencephalon is there. These all conclude the forebrain. Then there is midbrain, characterized by a pair of optic lobes. And there is a hindbrain which is having cerebellum and medulla oblongata. So see, even this is having the diverse development of nervous structure. That is why it is able to perform better in the adaptability and survival. Next, come to reproductive system. So I used a word called as urinogenital system. So what is the meaning of urinogenital system? What I said, even for expelling urine, the same channel is used. For expelling or transmission of gametes into the female, again the same track is used. Here in the male reproductive system, what we are having? We are having pair of testes, yellowish ovoid testes. You can see here, yellowish ovoid testes are there. They are attached to kidney through a connective tissue called as mesenchymum. So it is attached itself into the kidney. Then this testis is having 10 to 12 vasa efferentia, a duct. Here testis, this testis will produce sperms. The sperms will start through vasa efferentia. After vasa efferentia, in the kidney they have specialized channels called as Bidder's canal. See here. So here gametes are produced. It is coming to vasa efferentia to Bidder's canal to ureter to cloaca to exterior or female. Here external fertilization happens. That's why no direct deposition on female reproductive tract, but it will come out through cloacal aperture. So sometimes question has also come in the examination. What is the pathway of travel? Pathway of sperms in case of frogs? From yellowish ovoid testis, of course, it is produced here. Through that one, it is going through vasa efferentia, to Bidder's canal to ureter to cloaca. So this is the pathway. Okay. Next, what I told few slides back, this cloaca will be having two openings, one with respect to ureter, other one with respect to oviduct. So even though this ovary appears to be anchored to the kidney, there is no functional or physiological connection between the kidney. From the side view, it is appearing as if it is attached, but it is not. So this will release ovary. Okay. The speciality of the frog is it can release up to 2,500 to 3,000 ova at a time. This will be passed through oviduct and it will be coming here to cloaca and it will be released. So how this fertilization will happen? This is a process of external fertilization. So what we thought initially, what we understood, males have copulatory pad. So there is a bigger female, smaller male. They will sit on one another. They require a water medium. Why? Because it is an external fertilization. Fertilization is not happening within the female body. It is happening outside. It requires some medium like water, marshy area. So after sitting on each other, both of them will release gametes at once. So male sperms are there, female eggs are there. So they will fertilize. So here you can see an example. So that happens during mating season. So after this external fertilization, we will get something called as frog spawn. This frog spawn is non-calcareous. It is a jelly-like substance present in the water which will help in exchange of gases and other things. So it will be easy for the frog to develop. So frog has incomplete metamorphosis. First it will undergo, first it will be have in the form of tadpoles, then slowly it will develop into frog. In some frog species you can also see paternal care. Here the male frog is taking care of the frog spawn. You might have seen this. So like I said, they undergo metamorphosis. Eggs will then become tadpole, tadpole to a small frog which will be having tail-like structure. Then slowly it will disappear the tail and it will become the adult frog. So here the frog is considered as a beneficial to humans. Why? Because it will, the main food part of the frog is pests which can harm the crop plants. That is consumed by the frogs, so that it is bringing a ecological cycle balance within the food chain. At the same time, in some of the countries, the thighs of frogs are consumed as a rich protein source. Even in the some parts of Goa, it is being eaten. Okay, so this is all about the quick revision of frog. Okay, so before proceeding to cockroach, we'll just look at the question. Okay, so this is just this year's question. This year we had 3 questions from frog. We will see a couple of questions. Which of the following statement is correct about the location of the male frog copulatory pad? See, they are directly asking questions on the location. What are the options? First and second digit of the forelimbs, first digit of hind limb, second digit of forelimb, first digit of the forelimb. So what is the answer? The answer is, you very well you know, first digit of forelimb. Yeah. Okay, next one. In frog, the renal portal system is a special venous connection that acts linked to. So what I told, it is having, here they are asking renal portal system. So when we are talking about renal portal system, there is no question of hepatic, right? So liver is gone. When liver is given, it will not be the option. It is not with kidney and intestine, it is with kidney and lower part of the body. So straight away from the NCERT, the questions are coming. It is not that difficult, right? So with this, we will quickly move into cockroach. Okay, so cockroach, again, it's a quick revision. We will see what all the things we can cover. So you have seen, of course, you have come across this in your life. This small creature can bring freaking shivering in some of the people. That very small, but still it is having that big capability. So what we are talking about the cockroaches. These are belonging to the phylum Arthropoda, which is the largest phylum and the largest class Insecta. This is where it is belonging to. So these have brown or black bodied structures. Generally, it is somewhere around 0.6 to 7.6 centimeter. But when we talk about the species Periplaneta americana, which is very common, it is somewhere around 3 to 5 centimeter. Okay, they are nocturnal omnivores. They are more active in the night time. They are a serious pest because it will carry bacteria and other microorganisms, which is a super spreader of diseases. Generally, we are used to see this kind of cockroach, but there are varied color of cockroaches, including yellow, green, and other in the tropical region where sunlight will be present at all parts of the year. Most of the time, even if you, by chance, if you notice this one, you think that it is some other insect rather than a cockroach. That's how the color gradation is there with respect to cockroach. See, like I told, so somewhere around 3 to 5 centimeter. Here the body is divided into head, thorax, abdomen. There it was head and trunk. With respect to frog, here it is head, thorax, and abdomen. Here, like a characteristic feature of the Insecta, class Insecta, the whole phylum is covered with a hard chitinous exoskeleton. What is chitin? It is a polymer of N-acetyl glucosamine, N-acetyl muramic acid. Is a hard structure where it is difficult to digest that one, even by strong acids, enzymes. So that chitinous exoskeletal structures are there. That is what making these insects to thrive in diverse habitat. This cockroach also shows metameric segmentation. So this metamerism or metameric segmentation is a characteristic feature again. So what it will be there? The body is divided into compartments. So here the compartmentalization can be seen in the cockroaches as well. The entire body, like I told, it's covered by hard chitinous exoskeleton, and if you see, each exoskeleton has hardened plates called as sclerites. So it is like a soap box. It is covered like this. So if this is a cockroach, on both the sides it is having a hard chitinous plates. See the shiny lustrous nature because of that one. The sclerites, see, if you are able to see here, so on both the ends it will be there. So like a soap box. Sclerites can be further divided into tergites dorsally and sternites ventrally. So what is this dorsal and ventral? See, wherever our mouth is there, that is our ventral side, back side is dorsal side. So here cockroach mouth is here, that means this is ventral side, this is dorsal side. So like I said, soap box is there. Outside is called as tergite, lower side is called as sternite. In between this metamers, there is a membrane which we call orthodial membrane. This orthodial membrane, can you see here? So between, see what I told, sclerites are there. The sclerites can be further divided into tergites and sternites. In between sclerites, we have some membrane called as orthodial membrane. This membrane allows a free movement. If you have seen metro or any other thing, if you have seen one coach is connected with the other coach, there will be a, the membranous structures, some rubbery structures will be there, so that friction will be less, easy movement of the coaches. Similar to that one. So here they have a membrane which we call orthodial membrane. Again, it has come in exam. Sclerites, like a soap box structure, the outer structure is called as tergite, the lower structure is called as sternite. Now, this head is in triangular shape which lies at the right angles to the longitudinal axis of the body. See, if this is the body structure, head is somewhere here. So which will give a 90-degree angle, and it is having a flexible neck. So this is one of the features. Can you see here? 90-degree angle and the triangular head. In the head region, it is having a pair of compound eyes. Okay. In between the pair of compound eyes, there arises an antenna. We will come back to the structures again. For time being, you remember, can you see this black structure here? You have seen cockroach head. So what is this? This is called as compound eyes. Why it is called as compound eye? Because it is indeed made up of small eyes called as ommatidium. So there are thousands to 2000s of ommatidium aggregated together to form one compound eye. So like this, it is having compound eye. In between, an antenna is arising. This antenna is having sensory structures. Okay, a pair of compound eyes is the characteristic feature, and it is having something called as ommatidia. Okay. Next, come to the mouth parts of cockroach. The mouth parts of cockroach is called as biting and chewing type. It will bite and it will chew. So if you have seen the housefly, it will be doing just like this. That is called as lapping type. If you have seen butterfly, it is called as siphoning type. So it is it will be something like this. It will open like this. That is called a siphoning type. If you, our very famous common friend mosquito, whenever it is having, it is piercing, it is called as piercing mouth parts. But here our cockroach is having biting and chewing mouth parts. So what all comes under biting and chewing mouth parts? One is it is having a labrum which is similar to upper lip. So it is much more complicated. I am giving a simplified version just for our examination. Labrum is there, upper lip, labium is there, lower lip. In between they have mandibles. What these mandibles will do? The mandibles will crush the food particles. Mind you, cockroach is an omnivore which will feed on anything. At the same time, it can feed on the other cockroaches also. That means if it will be having chitin also, still it will be able to crush that one. So that strong grinding region is there, that is mandible. And there is hypopharynx, which is similar to tongue. So these all come under mouth parts of cockroach. Then the question comes, what about this maxillae? Okay, this is upper lip, this is lower lip, this mandibles are crushing structures. Then what about this maxillae? This maxillae helps in, it's a attachment muscle which will be helping in chewing properly. It is also having certain sensory structures. At the same time, it is helping in, it's a muscular structure which will helping in chewing and biting type. So this is with respect to mouth parts. This is the front view and this is the side view of the mouth parts of cockroach. So that apart from head, when we come to thorax region, the thorax region is made up of mainly three parts. One is called as protothorax, front, mesothorax, metathorax. So come again, the thorax region is made up of three parts. One is called as protothorax, mesothorax, metathorax. And each thoracic segment is having a pair of walking legs. So class insecta will be having 6 legs, that is 3 pairs of legs. Here each one is coming from 3 different thorax region. Further here you can see segments are starting that we learned. The first pair of wing arises from mesothorax and the second pair arises from metathorax. Can you see the wing here? The first pair of mesothoracic wings that we call as tegmina, and the second pair of wing that is arising from the metathorax we call it as hind wing. So forewing, hind wing, but due to the dark pigment we call it as tegmina. Here we call it as hind wing. It is elytra which is light in color. So here you will see a clear distinction between the mesothoracic wing and metathoracic wing. So can you see the difference here? The tegmina which is dark in color, which is not used in the flight, whereas hind wings, these are transparent, this is actually used in flight. And the males have longer wing size compared to females. So come again, we have 2 pair of wings. One is arising from mesothorax, prothorax, no wings. One is from mesothorax, other one is from metathorax. Again here, mesothoracic wings are dark in color, white chitin deposition, it is not used in flight, whereas metathoracic wing, this is light in color, this is actually used in flight. Whenever it is at rest, this tegmina covers. It's just like an aeroplane, just the wing will open and then it will fly. Okay. Then coming to segments, the abdomen. So head is over, thorax is over, now it is abdomen. If you check the abdomen, both the abdomens of male and female are having 10 segments. See here, 10 segments. So this is the actual cockroach. Here also you can see 10 segments. Just you look here, see 10 segments. Tergite, sternite, sclerite we call, right? You remember T1, T2, T3. This is the upper layer. Back below you will have sclerite. T1, T2, T10. So the same segments are there. Now, so even though the both male and female are having 10 segments, there are slight modifications with respect to male and female in few of the segments. For example, in female, the 7th sternum is boat shaped and together with 8th and 9th sterna. So what is the meaning of this? Simple. Let's say See, this is tergite, this is ternite. Tergite is separate, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they are separate. Whereas on the bottom side, they have jointed to give a boat-like structure. Can you see here? S7. This S7 is giving a boat-like structure. So this is called as brood or genital pouch. So what it will be having? This brood or genital pouch is having female gonopore, spermatical pores and collateral glands. We will see when we come to the reproductive system. I hope you got it. Outside, that is tergite, it is normal. During the sternite, they have joined to form a boat-shaped structure. That is what we are talking here. The boat-shaped structure called brood or genital pouch. This is with respect to female. Do we have any changes in males? Yes. In males also, a genital pouch or chamber lies at the hind end of the abdomen, dorsally by 9th and 10th terga. See, 9th and 10th terga is there. So here we have a genital pouch. Why this genital pouch is important, we will understand. I hope till now I am going in a very fast manner so that we will cover everything. I hope you are able to grasp these things. Okay. Now, how to differentiate between male and female cockroach? In both the sexes, I told you 10 segments are there. We already learned just now. The important thing to note here is, at the 10th segment, you will have something called as anal cirri. So here you can see a small finger-like projection that we call cirrus individually cirri. So this is present both in male, female and male as well. Then how do you differentiate between male and female? Other than this anal cirrus, there will be one more thread-like structure which we call caudal stylus. So here there is one more small miniature projection other than the cirrus which we call anal stylus. So if both anal stylus and cirrus are there, then we call it as male. Generally male have that one. Not generally, sorry, always male will have that one. In females, it will have only anal cirrus but not style. If style and cirrus is there, then it is male. Here it is female. So this is a common question that has been asked in the examination. The difference between male and female. How do you differentiate between male and female? The general appearance is males are bigger, females are smaller. Other than that one, wing is also bigger, wing is shorter in case of females. Other than those morphological, this also is there. Here cirrus is there, both the cases. If style is present additionally, then it is male. It's very important. Style plus cirrus is a characteristic feature of male. So those are some of the morphological features of cockroach. Now we are coming to anatomical features. So again here, cockroach, when we take a slit section, see. So when we take a section of cockroach, it appears somewhat like this, having this is a cockroach dissection that has been done. So in a simplified version, when we are looking at the diagram, how it is having, the food enters through, whatever the food that is eating, it enters through pharynx. Through pharynx, it will enter esophagus. From esophagus, it will enter into crop. This crop is a temporary storage organ where actual resemblance is somewhat like stomach, but it is not going to help anything. So here just temporary food storage will happen. Then it will move something called as gizzard. This gizzard is nothing but proventriculus. In simple words, I can say it is a grinding organ. It's like a grinder having, or a mixer with having sharp blades. So when we take a section of gizzard, the gizzard appears something like this, which will be having chitinous teeth. This teeth will help in crushing the food particles. From there, the digested part will slowly move towards, this is foregut. This here it comes to midgut. In between foregut and midgut, there is 6 to 8 hepatic ceca or gastric ceca, which will secrete gastric juice. From there, it will come to midgut. Here, the midgut is the area where most of the absorption will happen, and whatever the waste is there, that is eliminated through a structure called as Malpighian tubules. So you know very well Malpighian tubules is the structure in case of arthropoda. So 100 to 150 yellow thread-like structures are present. These thread-like structures eliminate the waste, and whatever the undigested matter will slowly move towards the colon, bigger colon and rectum, and it will come out. Okay. So if you see here, food particle, it is moving through pharynx, esophagus, the gizzard is there. Then here gastric ceca I can see. This is the midgut region. I don't know whether it is visible or not. Here there is fine yellow thread-like structures. This is Malpighian tubules. From here it is moving to intestine, through intestine to rectum, rectum to anus, waste matter will come out. Okay. So this is the simplified version of anatomy of cockroach digestive system. So this is what I said, 152 yellow colored bodies are present here. Next, come to anatomy of cockroach respiratory system, how this cockroach will respire. So as you know, arthropodon character is having spiracles. So there is a direct gaseous exchange between the atmosphere and the organism. So pipe-like structures where you can see here spiracles are there. So here also there is 10 pairs of small holes which we call spiracles, through which direct exchange of gases will happen with the concentration gradient difference, which we call diffusion. So here also again respiratory system, that is diffusion. Next, come to circulatory system. So arthropodal circulatory system is open type. So what happens in open type? So in open type, there is a mixture of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, where the cells is bathed in the homocoel. So homocoel is the space where the blood is there. All the tissue will be bathing in the blood. So here there is no proper closed circulatory system where the blood is not mixing up. Here it is open circulatory system, and it will be pouring, the blood is pouring into tissue spaces which we call hemocoel. Now come to this part. So whatever you are seeing, the tube-like structures, these are nothing but the chamber of heart. There are around 13 chambers of heart. So there are around 13 chambers of heart. Then in order to hold this heart in position, there are certain alary muscles which is holding that in position. This is 12 pairs of alary muscles. So the last one is not having the alary muscles. So 13 chambers of heart, alary muscles. Then there is opening here at the respective end, which we call ostia. Ostia is also there, that is the opening, and the blood is pouring into the spaces. Very simple system. So you can see one more diagram here. Ostia is there, alary muscle, same, heart, hemocoel, the tissue space is there. The one important thing is, in case of human blood, it is red in color. Why? We have something called as hemoglobin, a pigment which is giving red color. But here the hemolymph is colorless plasma and hemocytes. Why it is colorless? The reason is, if you see here, in the case of respiratory system, there is spiracles. There is easy exchange of gases. Why we require hemoglobin? We require hemoglobin so that hemoglobin will carry 4 oxygen molecules. Each hemoglobin will carry 4 oxygen molecules, and it will supply to the respective tissues. But here that is happening directly with respect to diffusion. So there is no need of any pigment. So that's why it will not be having any pigment. This is a colorless plasma. Okay. So next come to excretory system. So this cockroach is having uricotelic excretory system. So what is this uricotelic excretory system? So cockroaches excrete uric acid. That's why we call it as uricotelic excretory system. In case of frog, ureotelic. It was excreting urea. Here it is uric acid. That's why we call it as uricotelic excretory system. We already saw Malpighian tubules is the one which is responsible for that one. In addition to this, there are certain structures which is helping in the excretion. Important: fat body, nephrocytes, and mushroom gland or uricose glands. So when we come to reproductive system, we will see again here there is a similarity. So we will see the role of uricose glands when we come to male cockroach or male reproductive system. So again, this uricose glands is present only in case of males. Females doesn't have uricose gland. It is a PYQ. The fat body, nephrons, and mushroom glands. Here, fat bodies are there, nephrocytes are there, but mushroom glands are not present in the females. Come to nervous system. Nervous system, the speciality here is they have segmentally arranged ganglia. What is the segmentally arranged ganglia? Each and every segment of the metamass is having ganglia. What is ganglia? Cluster of the nerve cells. Cluster of nerve cells are present at different segments. Each segments, it is having ganglia. There is one bigger one that is present, supraesophageal ganglia. Above the pharynx region it is there, which we call supraesophageal ganglia, which is acting as a head region, or which is present in the head region. Rest of the are present in the thorax and abdomen. One more speciality of the cockroach nervous system is, like I said, one is in head, 3 lie in thorax and 6 lie in abdomen, and they are present throughout the body laterally. Okay, that's why even if head is lost, the cockroach can still survive for months. Only reason why the cockroach will die even after losing its head is it is not able to consume food. Rest of the sense organs are there. Rest of the ganglia, everything is present in the thorax and abdomen region, which will be sufficient for the cockroach to survive, except food. Since if head is not there, there is no biting and chewing mouth parts, so that the cockroach cannot survive. So this is also a PYQ, old PYQ. I know I am running pretty fast. The reason being, there is huge to cover. So this is the only way. Okay, like I told, esophageal ganglia, that surprise. Now to antenna and compound eyes, this we already learnt. Then we come to the eye. I told earlier, the compound eyes are situated on the dorsal side, topmost region towards the head, and I told it is made up of hundreds to thousands of singular eye, which we call ommatidium. See, one eye is there. Together they are clubbing to form compound eye. So what type of vision we will have generally? So the cockroach vision is considered as a mosaic vision. If you are seeing cricket, whenever the camera moves towards the LED board, you will get the error of mosaic vision like this. The mosaic vision, what is the advantage of mosaic vision? More sensitivity but less resolution. If at all you are seeing a cockroach and trying to hit that one, it is not seeing you as a whole structure. It is having high sensitivity. There is something danger, but it will not be able to figure out what is exactly there. So it will just run away. That is why it is difficult to chase and kill them, because they have mosaic vision with high sensitivity but less resolution. Now we are coming to anatomy of cockroach, that is male reproductive system. So we learned in the abdomen region there are 10 segments. In the 10 segments, from 4th to 6th abdominal segments, we will see a pair of testing lie on lateral side each other. So these are again lobular testes. So these are lobular testes that are present on the lateral side. These testes will open into something called as vasa deferens, the duct. Of course, here the testes will produce the sperms will enter vasa deferens. This vasa deferens is entering into a flower-like structure which we call mushroom gland. So I told uricose gland or mushroom glands are always present in males. So this is the structure, that is, it is having, this mushroom gland is having small tubules and long tubules. At the same time, it is vasa deferens is moving inside the mushroom gland. What is this mushroom gland? What is the use? It is an accessory reproductive duct which will secrete other secretions which are helpful in reproduction. Through sperm, when it is mixing with accessory reproductive structure, it will become semen. Then it will come out here through a common duct which we call ejaculatory duct. Through ejaculatory duct, it is coming to phallomore and it is opening. See, it is having, see basically what it is having lobular testis, vasa deferens, uricose gland, ejaculatory duct. Okay. Where is that? Here. When the sperms moves towards the mushroom gland or uricose gland, they are glued together to form bundles. One sperm is glued together to form a bundle of sperms, which we call spermatophore. The spermatophore is deposited into the female reproductive system. It is not sperm, spermatophore. Individual sperms are glued together to form a bundle. That bundle is deposited into female reproductive system. So the external genitalia in case of male cockroaches is represented by male gonopophysis or phallomere. So you can see here, it is having right phallomere, ventral phallomere. So this is, so these structures here you can see right phallomere, ventral phallomere. These are all the structures which will represent external genitalia. You can see something called as pseudopenis. What is this pseudopenis? Pseudopenis is not penis. It is not having any role other than helping in, no, it is not acting as a penis to transfer the gametes. So it will, that is why it is called a pseudopenis. Then there is something called as titillator. Titillator is the one which will open the female reproductive pouch and it will help in attaching the gametes. Okay, so I left with only 5 minutes. So when we come to the female reproductive system of cockroach, it is, see here we saw from 4th to 6th abdominal segment, but here it is even more bigger, from 2 to 6th abdominal segment. And each ovary is formed by a group of 6 to 8 ovarian tubules, which we call ovarioles. This ovarioles will finally develop and it will develop one ovum. See the ovary, this is the ovarian follicles. This is ovary. This ovary is opening into tubule, which we call lateral oviduct. The lateral oviduct is opening into a common oviduct. This common oviduct will open into something larger space, which we call vagina. Other than that one, here it is having accessory gland called as collateral gland. The collateral gland is the secretion. At the same time, you can see something called as spermatheca, a sac-like structure. So what is this spermatheca doing in the female reproductive system? So when male and female cockroach, they do fertilization, at the time the male will deposit the spermatophores in this spermatheca. When the eggs are ready here, when the eggs are ready, eggs will come from here. Then the spermatheca, which is already being deposited by the male cockroach, then it will fuse here in the vagina. Then it will form fertilized egg. So it is not like as soon as the gametes are deposited, fertilization will happen. First, the gametes are collected, then the collected gametes are stored in spermatheca, then the fertilization will happen. Okay, so that is developed in ootheca. So this you can see here, the fertilized egg are deposited in a case-like structure which we call ootheca. It is around 9 to 10, which will have approximately 14 to 16 eggs. Once they are hatched, it has to undergo 13 times of molting in order to come through the nymphal stages. See, first this is ootheca. This is a nymphal stage of cockroach. This we call incomplete metamorphosis, where there is resemblance with the adult. Only at the last stage it will get wing pad and finally it will have wings. The last nymphal stage. So that is all about cockroach. There is one question here. In both the sexes of cockroach, a pair of jointed filament structures called anal cirri are present on. So it's a NEET 2024 question. So what is the answer? So like we already know, it is present in the 10 segment. So we have 10 segments, what I told. Both of them will have anal cirri in the 10 segment. If you want to differentiate male, it is also having cardial styles. Okay. So that is all about today's quick revision. Indeed, it was very quick, I know. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for joining the session. Okay, I hope you got